Welcome to our broadcast, Saving the Constitution by Richard Procter. You can go to the Hagman Report to order it, $20. It is worth it. It is worth it. I opened up a chapter literally from the moment I bought the book, and I'm going to grab it right now. And I've been talking about it at the Court of Public Opinion page and post. By the way, conservatives rock. Thank you. And I highlighted this about the vested rights, about a legal definition of vested right, a right belonging completely unconditionally to a person, and property interest which is impaired or taken away. Do you know, like, if we were to read through this, we would know a lot about uh, how society, American society would be run. Do you know, I've never seen more tragedy and sadness than ever, and it's because of tyranny. And there's a scripture in Proverbs 29:2. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. I mean, it's basically Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So, when we get into, sorry that sometimes it gets a little, words kind of fall over each other, but the Constitution, saving the Constitution, this is what our forefathers have done, is they opened us up to something that we know is freedom and liberty. When there's freedom and liberty, you can go and do business, you can go to work, you can purchase a car, you could drive it, you could go thousands of miles and look at the vast countryside that was explored by Lewis and Clark, the historians. You understand that there's no dog, that it's not dogmatic at all, that it's written, that these truths were found self-evident. They believed it because they came to truth. They came into evidence that it was self-evident. They knew that there was no going back. Whatever happened that brought the forefathers to that point, they wrote the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Federalist Papers, and there was a time where the separatists and there was a lot of division, and that's true of the United States. There is division, and so I don't think one group of many people would be all think the same way. It was believed, though, that we were all equal in the eyes of God. And what do you know? What would you know about how important the end of the church age is and was, as it was predicted in the Bible? The church ended and something happened. Pastors started going to their congregation and saying, hey, they're closing us up over COVID. They're shutting us down over this. That something happened, even while as bad as it is that the COVID-19, it has now wakened the church. Remember, we were telling you guys that it would take something massive to awaken the church, that none of you guys you're not enemies, although some of you act and behave amongst each other, including me, as if we were enemies. The one thing we all have in common is the Constitution. I don't have any more right to go over to your house and take your things any more than the next person has the right to take my truck out from me, and then make up excuses for himself. And what I was telling you is that I became a victim of a predatory towing company. And what I say to you is true of anyone else, that there's a lot of double talk. And there's a lot of people that think they can speak for us, or that they're more intelligent. I'm going to tell you this. I went through an awful divorce. And most girls would have had a sister or a close friend nearby to go through, kind of what women go through is a mourning stage. With moms and sisters and daughters usually come together during a time like that. I did not have that. And I have sisters and I have friends. You find out who your friends are, though. And that's the truth is harsh. So I locked myself out of Facebook and I went to re add some people that were on my other Facebook page and they did not re add me. And I was not surprised because we really didn't start off our friendship off at all right at all. In fact, her friendship with me is challenging and it's not a friendship. So, I really felt that sometimes truth, as harsh as it is, it's a reality check for me. I want to get back to what I have here on the video. Tyranny is defined as that which is legal for the government but illegal for citizens. Why would it ask us why people in the positions of government have legal authority to do this? Because this is exactly what Governor Wolf said. Governor Wolf does not believe it's legal. Yet he's pushed back the reopening of Pennsylvania June 4th. And he didn't say anything to anybody. And that's not... And these notifications, these notices that you're getting, just because they're social media, that does not give this right. It's not right. So we're going to go to the Constitution and we're going to address it with the Constitution, because what Governor Wolf doesn't seem to get is that there's a Constitution. And now President Trump is recognizing what's going on. That he has decided to not reopen Pennsylvania. And now and the next story also is that the governor of Michigan is slapped with a lawsuit. And I want to know how many lawsuits it might take or what it will come down to. Because, listen, it's pretty serious when there's lawsuits. And anytime it gets to the point of where we're at, it's going to come down to lawsuits. It's going to come down to court. And we're going to court. In Michigan, the people had enough. Here in Pennsylvania, we had enough. We're going to court. And there's a preparation time of paperwork that most of you who have not received a COVID check or, a response, that just so that you know, it's been very difficult on everybody that's had checks bouncing and things going wrong in your life. So just know that we're all in different places with this. One thing we know, that we're going to court, and we're going to court with Governor Wolf, and we're going to court with Governor Whitmer, because tyrannical governments like this, like Michigan, because that's tyrannical government. And what Governor Wolf is doing is tyrannical and it's illegal. It's actually illegal. It's not even what the forefathers even suggested. The forefathers never ever said anything about governors leading like this, whether it be in North Carolina, Washington State. I mean, all these governors that are all doing this, the Constitution will hold you accountable. That's just how it is. And it's not for us. It'll be up to a jury, a grand jury, to decide. And I think that what you're seeing is that now that there are lawsuits, that's when things change. I think, to be quite honest, the court battle needs to go forward. And then what's going to end up happening is once the court wants to go through the court system, they're going to remove them and have a special election. I would say that a lot of you don't know anything about a special election. And this whole thing with mail-in ballots is it's a nightmare. It's just better just to go in and Make sure you have a voter's registration card and go in there and vote the way you would normally vote. Um, the special elections are going to happen. Um, and several states are going to have special elections, and they may have them by August. So between now and I'd say early August, I'd say that the election could very easily happen before that point too. We're talking about governor races. We're talking about what's going on at the governor's level. We're not talking about presidential at all. Um, Mass media is being held accountable in Italy. Italy has is outraged by what Bill Gates has done. Um, so these are just news stories that I picked off, and I'm not surprised at all. I think for a long time, every one of us have been skeptical about Bill Gates, or skeptics whenever he got himself into, purchasing large quantities of, I don't know, inoculation. He's no savior. So, I mean, the whole thing about tyranny, though, is that, you know, if I were to go over and do the things that Governor Wolf did, I would have gone to jail for that, So it's like there's a higher priority, and it is, we're all equal in the eyes of God, and we're all equal. And like when I go up to an elected official, he's my. I mean, of course, their legal title's different than mine because I'm not holding a legal position like a Governor Wolf is. Okay. And again, Governor Wolf goes over there and orders this around and orders the state of PA is is changing. And I don't know if it would have changed unless something radical happened. And I don't know yet. I don't really know how far it'll go. I'm going to tell you, Michigan, we were disgusted with what was going on with Michigan for a long time. I think if PA, if it doesn't get like it is with Michigan, then I'd say Michigan's got a little bit more going on because it's so excessive. It's a gun grab. It is meant for gun grab. It is meant for that. And Americans are starting to wake up to something, and they're waking up to a reality. See, remember, I want you guys to remember Lavoy Finnegan was shot and killed right there on TV. And this battlefield is a lot different than what typically we call battlefield because there wasn't social media. Now that there is, a social media, there wasn't though. So media is all in it. There's all kinds of media, social media, radio. What we do is radio. We're talking about it. We're talking about what is going to happen. And I think when I get a lot of these people to open up and talk and share, I think they're hesitant because for the real reason, because if you speak against your government, then you would be what, arrested? No, because you could speak out against your government because that is what your constitutional freedoms allow you. And you can speak out against a lot of things. You cannot incite violence, of course, and that's the one thing that we've been talking about. The gun grab, that's an overreach of what's going on, and that overreach is what we've been talking about. I want to wrap it up here because there's a lot that probably needs to be said, and I hope we got some of the things out we wanted to get out from the first two segments. It took a couple hours of this, and it's a very passionate story we have. When we know that our story is that we do not want to see the Constitution be destroyed because of the lack of consideration. And that could be from legal authority, that could be from the average person. Average person. Do you know that Ben Franklin said this? This woman turned to him and said, "Oh, do we have a republic or not?" And Ben Franklin turned to her and said, "Yes, if you can keep it." That's it for my radio broadcast. It's so important to read that Constitution and save the republic.